America, Belgium, we are back.
Singapore.
Wherever. Yep.
Season 8.
Slick. Lockpod Season 8. Back on the air.
What a nice break I had.
I didn't hardly even talk to you guys.
I just like the fact that my Monday nights, Tuesday mornings, Thursday nights, and Friday mornings were open.
Yes.
It sounds like complaints.
No complaints. Just
It's
it was
we're
nice to
1
have,
minute into the show and you're already bitching.
no complaining.
We're like 1 minute into Season 8.
It was
you're like, this
it was
sucks.
a nice break.
It sucks that I'm back on the air.
I didn't say I was pissed that we're back on the air.
I'm
I just said it
reading
was
you.
a
I know Kevin Smith
No,
very well.
I was a nice break. That's all.
It's not even like, hey, what's up, guys? You're
Lindsay,
like, it was
John,
really nice not fucking working over the last.
You know, it was
This is
pretty
work?
nice not
It
having
is
to wake
work.
up super early, you know.
Right.
I'll do a schedule.
We didn't have a show for 2 months, and you guys are complaining
great.
already?
No, I'm just saying it was nice to have a little break.
I'm hearing a lot of positivity, honestly, talking about how great our break was.
I'm
and-
happy to be back. Our audience missed us.
You seem happy.
I am happy.
You do
Like,
seem
dude,
happy.
I feel like I'm stifled when Lockpod's not on the air.
There's some great comments. I just thought some of these things were great. Somebody just said my Tuesdays are complete again.
Thank God.
I
Me
thought
too.
me
too.
That was
What the hell am I
great.
going to do? Sit around the house? I've been talking to family for like 2 weeks straight.
Pete says only have time for one podcast in my life. The rest of my news comes from memes.
I noticed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we love our commenters and thank you for coming back and listening.
What did you guys do during your break?
I was a lot of family stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's what the holidays are for. Sorry you had to hang out with me.
I loved it. I loved it. No, I mean, but honestly though, Lindsay, I'm like ADD boy, and I would go to work like every day just to even check the building and make sure that a pipe didn't burst. I literally that's my life.
That's
now.
that's the kind of mayor you want though.
I go every day.
I'm going to City Hall to make sure that a pipe didn't burst.
You know what? Honestly, I have a path. I go elevator to the third floor.
Look at you.
I walk around the third floor, and then I walk down the stairs to the second floor.
Don't give this away. It could be like a.
And then I go to my
Giving it
office
away
and
to
I
an
check my
assassin.
office out, and then I walk down the stairs to the first floor, and then I walk down the stairs to the basement, and
Checking it out. See,
the whole building.
Why wouldn't you want a mayor like that?
I agree.
You know.
Well, it's election year, so hopefully
well,
He'd make a great security guard.
I'm on a bad streak in politics. I'm 0 for 2 in the last two races. So I mean,
well,
I'm
it's
heading
time
in.
to-
I'm limping into the mayor's
you're
race.
forgetting you won the primaries or the
Oh,
primary
that's
and the
true.
one
That's
in the
true.
Senate.
Yeah,
I mean, unopposed, but
I'm limping though. Like all these people that think they're gonna beat me, they're like, we got a weekend mayor.
like
He's
a deer that's
limping. Yeah,
like
we got
like the
one
old-
shot in him. He's limping around. We got this guy.
The chum is in the water.
Yeah, it's like the lions looking for the weak
Right, yeah.
elk. Or
I feel
whatever,
real
and,
weak as mayor right now. You know,
gazelle rather, but
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think you're fine.
John hurt his back over the break.
Oh man, it's tough.
You
right
should have
now.
seen this
Really?
guy limping in here. I thought, I might
Speaking
get
of
you one of those
limping-
walkers with the tennis balls on them.
Really?
No, I did not.
I
Really?
could get you one from work.
Is it lower back?
It's lower back.
What'd you do?
Well,
Did you
once,
fall?
once or twice
Amy
a
and
year.
you?
Yes.
Really?
Once or twice a year.
That damn
no,
Amy.
No, that's how lower back.
Once or twice.
That's what Foreit always tells me. Lower back injuries are sexually related.
Well,
Wow.
this one was furniture related.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You had sex with furniture?
Maybe sex on furniture.
Oh,
See,
okay. That makes sense.
that was his way into it.
All right, cool.
I've thrown it out before, but listen to this story. Like it was just bound to happen. So one of my Christmas gifts, I was a good boy this year. I got a new furniture set
Nice.
for
That's fancy.
Amy.
Santa was nice
Wow.
to you.
and
You're a good husband.
so that requires moving out the old sectional.
Yep.
So my parents are like, "Hey, what are you doing with your old sectional?" So I'm going to throw it out. They go, "No, we love that. Like, can we have it?"
See?
So in order to get that to them, we had to get rid of their old furniture. So there's this string of manual labor
is
that
quite
took
a-
all day.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I was like, it's too late for me. My back's gone.
And that was it.
Dang.
That was it. But all the furniture's in place. Looks great. I just can't walk.
Well, when John told me yesterday, he's like, "Yeah, it takes me about 3 minutes to go from the bed to the bathroom." I was like, "Oh man, you better get here early."
Oh, yeah, I was.
But everything's working.
Yeah.
And we're on YouTube, right, John?
Hey, we're live on YouTube.
That's awesome.
And on Twitter.
Yep.
Live on Twitter, live on YouTube,
We were
live on
Twitter
Facebook.
last time.
Isn't it? We're getting things done.
Yeah, we're just adding more and more platforms.
Welcome to season 8.
Lindsay, did you see Avatar yet?
No, but Brian's seen it twice.
Really?
Brian loves
Have you seen it,
Avatar.
John?
Amazing.
I bought
Loved
tickets
it.
and didn't go.
How come?
I didn't want to sit for 3 hours.
Oh, you were supposed to go with
Where'd you-
us?
Yeah, and luckily I
You
didn't.
guys didn't invite me?
I mean, I just
Dicks.
went. I didn't go. You could have my tickets. I
When
think I
did you
gave them
go?
to Phil's. I think I gave them to Phil's after you.
It was like the week of Christmas or something.
Yeah.
You
I
guys
didn't go.
are
I'm
dicks.
pretty sure you
Not
were
even an
invited.
invite.
I'm pretty
I was
sure you
not
were
invited.
Dad was planning on not being in
Well, I
town.
blame Phil because I told Phil to
All right.
make that happen.
I see how that is.
So.
Anyway,
But,
I didn't go.
I went with Foreit.
Oh, that
Dicks.
sounds like
Dicks.
Aw.
a experience.
It was.
It's a guy's date.
Was
Guy's
it the Foreit Zone?
How about this? It's 3D movie, right? So like Foreit and I go in there.
I didn't
it's
know that.
3D, and then the movie comes on, and I'm like, why is it out of focus? Right? Like the background was out of focus, and then the words would come up because they speak a different language, and the words were out of focus.
Is it like the kind of one of those where they give you glasses or not?
Yeah, I'm wearing the glasses.
I thought you might not have your glasses.
And
on.
I'm like, I look at Foreit, and I'm like, dude. And he goes, shut the fuck up. Right? And I'm like, okay.
He's super
Trying to-
zoned.
He's like, I'm trying to read the words. And I'm like, I can't fucking read them. Can you read them? He's like, shut the fuck up. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, and I'm looking around the theater like, am I
People
the
are
only one?
shushing Tom.
I'm like, is my vision fucked up?
Hey, shh.
So I'm like looking around the theater, and everybody's like paying attention, eating popcorn and shit. And I look up and see if the guy's in there. Like, is he freaking to adjust something? Am I the only one in the theater that can't see this shit? Right?
Foreight's
Dad's
literally
getting old.
shushing you.
Yeah. So I do this for 20 minutes, and I'm like, this fucking sucks. Like, you could barely see, right? I could see what's going on in one phase, but like the 3D part is not working. And then the words would come up, and they're all blurry. And I'm like, everybody in this theater, nobody wants to get up and do something about it. I'm like, finally, fuck it. I'm getting up. I'm doing something about this because it's obviously messed up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I walk out.
Does Foreit go with you? Is he also
No,
messed up?
he's watching the movie, like totally freaking happy.
Fine.
So I'm the only one that's like going to take care of
Okay.
the fucking situation. So I
Wow.
get up and I walk
A
out.
lot
to
of
the lady.
F-bombs today.
Yeah,
guys.
that
Sorry,
was a lot
I
of
was really
curses.
upset.
It's like
Sorry.
season 1, episode 1.
Yeah, no, all right, I'll slow down. So I walk up to the lady at the front counter, and I'm like, dude, I can't see the movie. It's out of focus. Can you tell the dude to like focus the movie? She goes, it's 3D. I'm like, I know. I can't see it. It's out of focus. And she goes, give me your glasses. And I give them to her, and she goes, those are the wrong glasses. And I'm like, these are the ones you gave me, right? So she gives me another pair, and I'm like, and they look exactly the same.
Okay.
I'm like, whatever. So I put them on, and I'm like, give me an extra pair for my buddy because he got
You
the
think
same one.
Foreight's got the wrong glass?
So I walk into the thing, and as soon as I walk in, it's perfectly clear.
You're good.
Dude, this is like 20 minutes after the movie starts, right? And I walk up to Foreit, and I grab the glasses off his face, and I hand him the new ones, and he puts them on. He goes, oh.
Oh my
God.
God.
So for 20 minutes, he's got the wrong glasses, but is shushing you.
Yeah.
That he thinks it's fine.
Yeah.
This is just part of the experience.
Yeah.
You know, he's just satisfied with poor quality.
No, we all know what he was.
I want to
the
know.
Foreit
I
zone.
want to
It's
know
the
what else he
Foreit
was
zone.
on.
It's the
It's
Foreit
the
zone.
Foreit zone.
Who
That's
knows
the
what
Foreit- that's a
hallucinogenics
perfect-
or whatever
That's a
else
perfect
he was
example of the Foreit zone right there.
Unbelievable.
I just love the fact that he was like
Shushing me.
you.
He was shushing me.
Super focused.
Because I was like, dude, can you see this? He's like, shut the hell up.
He's probably pirating it. That's why he's telling you to be quiet.
Yeah.
He's filming it with
It's
like
out
a
of
VHS
focus.
camcorder,
in his lap,
It's out of focus.
eating a bag of cake.
Yeah.
eating some raisinets.
Like the Seinfeld episode.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. That's not bad.
Great movie,
That's
though,
good,
right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great movie. I loved it.
I
don't
never
see how
saw the
anybody-
first one.
I mean, you know what? You don't need to.
Oh.
You don't need to.
I mean,
It's
you kind of do.
not
based on
really.
the
Because
parts
I
of the story
forgot.
that I knew.
I saw it, but I forgot all about it. It
John,
was
do you
years
need to
ago.
see the first one?
I would see the first one. Yeah.
No,
you
I
don't
would
have
see
to.
it. You don't have to see it.
Don't have to though.
No, you don't have to.
Kevin, have you seen any movies recently?
Saw The Menu, which I would wholeheartedly recommend.
I heard it's good.
Really good. Kind of like a psychological. I thought it was going to be like, oh, light and funny. I didn't know anything about it, except that Aiden had told me, go. He was between that and The Fablemans. We went and saw The Menu. Very much recommend it. I would totally
the
recommend
trailers
it.
for that movie made it seem like it was like a cannibals.
No.
That you realize you're eating people at
No
the end. or
spoilers.
No,
something.
but it's a
No
thrill. It's a
spoilers.
thriller. I would recommend
I
seeing
can't
it.
do cannibalism. It freaks
The
me
Menu.
out.
I'm dealing with like post-election issues too. Also, I'm like finally used to not running every night, going someplace.
They had to be such a change because you
It
were
is.
like
It was really hard.
90 miles an hour every
and then
day.
you go, "Beep." You're like doing nothing. Like being Mayor of Hammond is not an easy job, but it's compared to what I was doing, it's very, very easy.
Well, maybe not
Like,
easy, but maybe more,
no,
more
like
like
way less
slower.
hectic, way less
slower.
hectic.
And you're not traveling.
Way less hectic.
You're in
yeah.
City Hall
Like a
doing
big
what you
trip
need
for
to
me
do.
is like, hey, there's something going on in Robertsdale. I'm like, I'll be right there.
Yeah.
Because it's like 15-minute drive. It's nothing. I
That
would
had
have
to be a
drive.
big change.
So like I'm also like super skeptical all the time because like especially right after. And I remember Lindsay, this is so funny because Kevin and I were sitting at True, and I was like, Kevin was really like, this was shortly after the race, right, Kev?
Yeah, it was like mid-November.
So like I'm still real fresh. Yeah, I just got
because it was
back.
right before we finished the season. I think
Right.
we were just getting
And some guy comes up to me. So this is a perfect example of me and like how like
Where your state of mind is.
my state of mind. Some guy comes up to me. He goes, "Hey, Mayor." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I just want to say downtown Hammond's looking great. I really appreciate what you're doing." And I'm like, "Thanks." And he walks off. And Kevin's like, "That was nice." I'm like, "That guy was being a dick to me, man." And Kevin's like, "No, he wasn't." I'm like, "Yeah, he was being totally sarcastic."
He was so sincere. He was, and Tom was just all pissed off. He was like, "That guy's, he's trying, he's."
Because downtown Hammond looks like crap right now.
Well, I mean, it's under construction. I mean,
know.
you can
no,
see
but
it.
like the funny thing is, I get tons of complaints about downtown Hammond because people that work there, people are trying to get through. It's a total construction zone.
I know. I tried to go to Haas sometimes to help out the theater
yeah, it's
program,
tough.
and it's just
take
a
State
nightmare.
line to Russell.
Yeah,
So
it's
confused.
State line,
right.
Lindsay.
I
Take
was
State
State
like,
line is
why
my
can I
answer.
turn down a one-way street now? Like, this is...
Well,
But so anyway, that's the funny thing is the guy was being totally nice to me, and I thought he was trying to be a jerk. And Kevin's like, "No,
he
he's
was so
being
sincere.
nice.
Yeah,
He's
he was
being
like all
really
about.
nice."
He's like, I see
It's
the
like,
development.
where are you, man? Mentally, you're all screwed up right now. It's
Everyone's a critic.
like, everybody's mad at me and just being like nice to my face, and they're really deep down pissed off.
Well, I thought that actually, but that is a good way to look at things because I mean, good way to look at a good way to show where you were at the time, and I think you're beyond that now.
Yeah,
You've had a lot of time to.
Did you see Monday Night Football last night?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my.
Lindsay, you watched it, or did you just watch it after it blew
Well,
up?
I watched it after it happened because my father-in-law was like called my
Yeah,
Brian
It was
and was
shocking.
like, "I've been watching football and this thing happened. He's
Yeah,
in the
dude.
hospital." And
I could not believe it. I was like, because it was weird. It was just like starts off in his injury, and then they cut away, and then they come back, and they're like,
he's on the ground.
they're doing CPR. On
Well,
this
did
dude.
you see the actual replay of, or did you see it when he fell?
Yeah.
I mean, it was like it
He
reminded
stood up
me.
totally fine, and
Yeah.
then just like
It reminded me of somebody
It
who
was
was
like
like, "Catch
adrenaline.
me! I'm gonna pretend
Right.
like
Do
I'm
it at
fainting."
trust
It was like adrenaline
Yes.
got him
Yes.
up. He's like he tackles him, gets up, like it was almost like adrenaline popped him up, and then he was just like, oh, boom, just fell
Yeah.
flat on his back, and very scary. And it got progressively scarier. And then you start seeing the players like break down in tears, and they're all crying. It
was
was like,
bad.
holy crap, this is tragic.
Yeah, I was reading a little bit about the medical condition. It might have been it's something called
Yeah, like if you get
commotio cordis. Does that make sense, Lindsay?
anyway, you get hit in the chest and your heart
Yes.
stops. Basically,
Yes.
It's
And
like
it
why
happens
kids
with
wear-
athletes.
It's why little kids wear the chest protectors in baseball.
Bingo.
And lacrosse players also they wear
You got
chest
it.
protectors because
I had a student pass away from that.
really
Yeah, he
where at Morton.
Yeah, he was a student at Morton. He was
Wow.
a young athlete.
That's sad.
Yeah,
Very sad.
it is very sad, and it's very sudden. You get hit in a very specific location on the chest, and it like your heart just the electricity stops. That keeps your heart pumping, basically. So
Yeah.
he had no pulse, I guess, because they were doing CPR for like 9 minutes.
They intubated him.
Jeez.
Like-
Yeah, and the update is that his vitals are back to normal and he's in critical condition. This morning I saw an update from the Bills.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so his vitals are back,
I mean,
but
if he
he's
pulled through by
he's
now,
he's sedated and I don't know if it's like one of those induced comas or something.
I was
And he's
listening-
intubated still.
I was listening to a doctor this morning saying that because they had all the equipment right there, they shocked. What is it? They shocked
AED?
him.
Yeah.
They had an AED there. They were doing CPR right away. That the recovery rate for an athlete in a situation like that's like 89%.
So I don't know if you remember, but during the Euros, the like star of the Denmark team, Christian Eriksen, he was just dribbling the soccer ball in the corner. Same thing, fell down. They had the AED there right away.
Right.
He's back playing Premier League, or I
Good.
think he's in the top level in Germany or something, playing soccer again.
There you go.
Wow.
So yeah. And
So
he
it
played-
doesn't mean your career's over.
right. He
No.
played for Denmark
Wow.
in the World
I
Cup
mean,
even.
But like
He's
if they didn't have
24, right?
if
So
they
he
didn't
could
have
pull
the
through.
equipment on the side though, he would have died last night.
Totally
For
agree.
sure.
He would have died on the field.
Well, and
Right.
you know, like there's, and I know the city has done the AEDs. There's AEDs in City Hall now, and
Right.
those are around. I think those are really important to
That's
have.
nice.
Yeah.
Those
Peace of mind.
are awesome pieces of equipment.
Hey Lindsay, I
Every
got a
floor.
question for you.
What's up?
You learned interesting things over the break, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
I learned interesting things about my family. I was wondering if you were
Sometimes.
concealing from me.
What am I concealing?
My son Patrick
Yeah.
got banned from TikTok.
Whoa.
I
How
was
does that
wondering where
happen?
his account went.
How does that happen?
Lindsay?
His IP address was flagged, and he had to change accounts. He's literally
What
like
did
banned
what
from-
did Pat? What could be the? What could
Dude,
be the?
he's so mild-mannered. Like, what
list-
is he
yeah,
doing?
but the quiet ones are the ones you got to be worried about. I mean, like
You know,
Really?
honestly, I followed his account, and he was just posting, what's it called, GTA, like videos of him playing Grand Theft Auto.
Oh.
That's about it. He wasn't doing anything.
See, maybe his
weird.
alter ego through Grand Theft Auto.
Now, if it was Twitter,
Right.
I was wondering if it was because he like attacked Elon Musk and he was, taking off.
Patrick
Yeah.
loves Elon Musk.
You know that Twitter account that's like it's Elon's jet?
Yes,
That's
yes.
Patrick, actually.
Yes.
I
Maybe
think Patrick
was.
I think Patrick criticized communist China.
Maybe they were watching their jets, their
You
private
know
jets
what?
in China.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised that like maybe he made like a joke against China, and China was like, "Screw this
Yes.
kid."
I agree. I can see Pat doing that. I can't see Pat like he's like very mild man.
I
He's
agree.
like a 35.
Maybe Xi Jinping or what's the who's
Grand
the
Theft Auto.
yeah
President
like
Xi.
President Xi's jet. And Patrick got
That's awesome.
President Xi's jet got.
No, but really, I followed his account. I was wondering where he was because I was like, he doesn't show up on my For You page anymore. But he just posted
Poor
videos
Patrick.
of him playing Grand Theft Auto online with people, and then he
Maybe
would just
it was
post
his
it.
alter ego in Grand
Yes,
Theft Auto.
it
I mean,
could
you know what?
be.
Grand Theft Auto
He did
is
something
inherently
like-
a violent
it
game.
It is a
so-
violent game, but if you're posting it, it's like promoting violence.
Oh.
I wonder if that's it.
No,
I don't
he
think
can't be the
so.
only one in the world.
How the
promoting
hell does
Grand
Patrick
Theft
get
Auto.
banned from freaking TikTok?
I
Like
got
my theory.
One of
I got
one of
my
my
theory.
videos got flagged.
secretly
It was
shady.
just random.
That kid's shady deep down inside.
He's
I've
like
seen
the
things
sweetest,
on.
most mild mannered. Kid,
I
you
know. That's your godson, by the way.
I agree. I don't think he did anything wrong.
Patrick's the youngest.
Yes.
I think
How
it could
did
be,
he get banned from TikTok, dude?
Well, what is he
Like,
saying though? Is he
I have
telling
my
you? Is he
TikTok
saying?
is so risque. Like Patrick gets banned, and like
Did you
these-
ask him, or is he
Yeah,
like being
he
like?
goes, he clams up. Claims the
Oh,
fifth.
I think it might be. Maybe he's CIA at this young age. I couldn't.
Oh, he is
Patrick's
bright.
You
They
know,
would
Patrick
never
bright.
suspect him.
Isn't he a
Interesting.
pilot
Yes,
too?
see?
I mean, what is-
Yeah.
So he's in the
I
Civil
think
Air
he's been
Patrol.
recruited.
I agree.
Wow.
That's my theory.
Okay, interesting.
CIA
and China
agent.
called it.
China called it.
Wow.
This kid.
China outed him.
All right, all right.
All right.
Hey, I woke up on so on Christmas Eve, we're getting ready to fly out the next day to Miami, and I'd already checked into my airline, and I remind my family like a good dad, you guys got to check in.
Don't forget.
And we're like literally, and Lindsay's not going on this trip, unfortunately, and so
Because
she's
I work nights.
so she's in the house with
You're an
us,
adult
and
now.
everybody's sort of salty at us because part of the family's going and part of the family's
They do
staying.
this every year. They go to like some nice place to hang out in the summer, like with summer-like conditions, and go to Florida or something.
I
and
thought it
then
was a
Chase
gift,
and I
right?
are here
So anyway,
hanging out in the snow.
my adult kids, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Lindsay and
I haven't
Lindsay,
gone on a family
we're all
trip in a
sitting
hot
there
minute.
on
A
Christmas
lot of
Eve,
complaining here.
and I'm like, you guys got to check in. And they start checking in. They're like, I can't check in. And Marissa's like, I can't check in either. And Patrick's like, I can't check in either. And I'm like, I checked in this morning. So I go to my phone real quick. Flight canceled.
Oh, you
So
were
I'm
one
like,
of the
Yeah.
many thousand of
This
flights.
is Christmas Eve. We're supposed to fly out the next day. We have a hotel for the whole week, which is not cheap.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
So I'm like, So I'm like, we need to get another flight. Every flight was canceled all the way through the 30th. And I'm like, we're supposed to come home on the 30th.
How was your Florida vacation?
So I'm like, real quick. I draw real quick conclusions. I'm like, vacation's over, guys. It's like, this is like 8 o'clock. I'm like,
yeah, but that's Dad.
unpack
Dad,
your
he,
shit.
He makes very sudden decisions,
Yes.
and he's
oh,
just
I
like,
do. Real quick. I'm like, call the
He's a
hotel.
pessimist.
We're done. Yeah. So anyway, I was right in this case. Vacation was canceled.
Vacation was canceled.
Thankfully, we were canceled at home, whereas other people were
Lindsay,
canceled
were you
in the
like
airport.
secretly happy
Oh,
about
I
that?
was thrilled because, well, during breaks and stuff, I'm working evenings and night shifts, so I have to go at like 6 in the morning to feed the dogs, and I hate waking up that early.
And our doggies love her for it.
She
Thank
ran home
you.
and said, "Brian, it's so their vacation
Good
was
news!
canceled.
They're
Great
stuck.
news."
They have to hang out with me for Christmas this year.
But you know what's crazy though? So like, I never thought during this. Obviously, we were upset, and I was pissed at
What a
Southwest
bummer.
Airlines. I was pissed at the world
Well,
because like
it was so cold, and you were going to get out and go into the sun.
it was still going to be cold,
But
but it was supposed to be the 50s in Florida.
fair enough. But you just
Which
got
at the
through-
time it was minus 30 in
it was
Chicago.
like, yeah, you were getting out on the best day to get out.
Never once did it cross my mind that Pete Buttigieg messed up his job.
I agree with you.
It's so funny. Like, and we should be very, we're very upset about it. And I've been using Southwest Airlines my whole adult. This is only the
It's your
second
go-to.
time. It's only the second time it's ever happened. So I'm not. It was a horrible storm at the worst possible time. And now Fox News does an article yesterday. Missing in action. Pete Buttigieg. Lack of competent leadership leads to the flight fiasco.
I think
It's
they
like,
must have
get the-
forgotten that deregulation of the airline industry happened in the 70s.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I
why
never,
the
like,
government-
honestly, like, there's nothing Pete Buttigieg did or didn't do that caused what happened.
No, it's Southwest's fault.
It's so stupid. Fox News, Like, John, could you represent Fox News in this case? Like, do you agree with this line of attack? I just don't get it. And I'll be honest, if I thought Buttigieg messed up, I'd be all over it because we lost a vacation because of this. But it never crossed my mind that Pete Buttigieg dropped the ball.
Dad would get his phone out and call.
I mean, these are
I would
private.
text him.
These are private businesses. And by
Southwest
the way,
Airlines? Pete Buttigieg could force Southwest Airlines to.
Well, I'm just saying that the screw up wasn't the Department of Transportation's fault. I mean, it was the airline's fault.
It was Southwest Airlines.
Yeah, I mean, and by the way, there were a lot of other airlines that didn't have this problem.
Right. Based on what I've read, I wouldn't say it's Buttigieg's fault. To me, it seems like a lot of airlines operate out of hubs, whereas Southwest goes from city to city.
Yes.
Exactly it.
So when one gets canceled, the other gets canceled.
It's like
the other gets
cascading.
canceled. It's a snowball down.
And I also saw yesterday the CEO of Southwest said that their reservation system is "quote unquote" antiquated, and so they need to make some changes. So.
And I guess the pilots have been telling him that for a long time, and it took something. Southwest is going to lose so much money because we got all our points back, all of our fees refunded.
Wow.
The hotel that we had was not cheap, and we got it canceled except for the first day. They said if you show us canceled flights, we're probably going to do that. But if they don't, Southwest already told us if you get charged for the first day, we got
time to short the Southwest stock.
Southwest is going down a couple bucks. You know, it's a big, but like their quarter is going to be horrible. This quarter, they were supposed to make all that money, and they made nothing during the holidays. So short LUV.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this question then.
That's Southwest Airlines ticker symbol.
Will you continue to fly Southwest?
Yeah, for sure. Right. I got 200,000 flight points, so I'm definitely going to use those points.
Going for it.
I won't, but we're going to get into that on Friday's show.
Oh, yeah. That's a topic we're not going to touch until Friday.
Yeah. So wait,
Tom,
you didn't. Sorry, Kevin.
No,
you
go ahead,
didn't
John.
consider a different airline. It was all messed up.
Well, think about where we live too, John. Like, we live right by Southwest, one of their main hubs.
No, he means for your trip.
Oh,
I don't think
John,
Dad has used anything but Southwest for the last 20 years.
Keep in mind, though, like I just said, I have tons of points. So part of the appeal of this trip was I literally used points to get my entire family to Miami.
Gotcha.
Right. So like,
can't imagine what a flight would have
been.
It
would have been $5,000 or $6,000 just to get us replacement flights. And then we were already spending a lot of money. So it was like this trip suddenly got
and therefore the
super
proclamation that vacation was canceled.
Who was right? I was right.
Finally. My family has to hang out with me for the holidays.
It was a good holiday. We made the most of it.
That's good.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and do some. We want to say thank you to our sponsors of Season 8. A lot of them have been with us all the way through. We appreciate them very much. And Steve says we don't.
Oh, this is funny.
We don't smooch on you enough.
Can I mention something about our business manager?
Yeah,
there we go.
Steve.
Yeah.
So I call him last night after we met, kind of the pre-show, right? Got back in the groove. I'm like, hey, Steve, I don't have the reads yet for the ads. He's like, what? Why do you need them? And I was like, well, tomorrow is. He's like, oh, I thought that was next Tuesday.
You're kidding.
No, dude, it's tomorrow. He's like, oh, I'll get them to you. So
our
Steve,
business manager
he's
thought
on
the premiere was next week.
Let's face it, we are like low paid labor though.
He's
the one that makes all the money.
I am unpaid labor.
And the fact that
I'm unpaid. I pay to be on.
Yeah.
This
we
is
pay
like
taxes.
Steve's got it made.
We pay to be here.
Steve has got it.
Steve should be the one on top of things.
He's laughing at us right now.
He also ran out of checks over the break. So
Oh God, he's writing himself a lot of checks.
So anyway, Steve told us we don't.
we're not really here till next Tuesday.
We don't smooch on the advertisers enough.
Oh, all right. Well,
we need to smooch on
I
them
think
a
we
little bit
do.
more.
I think we do plenty. But okay,
All
let's
right,
get into it.
Fine. Here we go.
You know, if
Make
you have
some
a
love.
screwed up roof, like I was told, my roof is shaky.
My roof is brand new.
15
Shaky
years.
as in made of shakes?
I've been in the house long enough. I've already changed the roof, and they're already saying start mentally
Wow.
preparing. So anyway, if I have to do that, right down the street here in Hammond, Indiana, we have Rogers Roofing.
Why don't you ask me and John who did our last roof?
Who did your last roof?
Rogers Roofing.
Rogers
What?
Roofing.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Unbelievable job.
I love Rogers Roofing.
Incredible.
When you want the best for your home and family, trust the best in the business, Rogers Roofing. Rogers Roofing has transformed the homes in Northwest Indiana and the Chicagoland area for more than 54 years, providing quality roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed by the best warranties in the industry. To learn more and to schedule your free consultation, visit rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-9145. That's 219-933-9145 today. That's rogersroofing.com, 219-933-9145. All right.
Thank
Wow,
you.
that's awesome. They're a sponsor this season.
I love it.
Thank you,
And
Rogers
John Rogers is about the nicest guy you'll ever meet. So
Wow.
please consider Rogers Roofing. Misprint Printing.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
That's right.
Love that metal
They're
business
back.
card.
They've been with us every season. Thank
Yes,
you
they
very
have.
much, Rick.
Thank you, Rick,
Baltensberger
and his team.
and Misprint.
Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality signs and printing on time and under budget. Misprint's experience in technology allows them to offer custom, commercial, on-demand printing and sign solutions. Rick Baltzenberger and his team have served Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana for over 30 years. They also have 2 convenient locations to serve you in Munster and in Hammond. And by the way, I don't know if you saw this. So like over the break, for those of you that watch World Cup, right? So Rick follows the Netherlands, of course, because he's Dutch, born in the Netherlands, and his wife, Argentine. They played each other in the semifinal, and their Christmas card was like a house divided.
Nice.
Which I thought was cool.
Nice.
I wonder how that game went.
Yeah, not good for Rick, although he says it was taken from him. But.
Oh, of course, yes. Byway Brewing, and I want to apologize. It is another one of those days where I'm just really stuffy, so don't laugh at me.
You don't sound stuffy.
Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious taproom and outside patio. Our brewing equipment offers a unique backdrop for your private event like weddings, reunions, or corporate parties. We are conveniently located just off of 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Come on by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers and unbeatable menu. For more information, check out bywaybrewing.beer.
Ron Pestimer Insurance Agency. Another sponsor that's been with us from the very beginning. Thank you very much, Ron Pestimer and his insurance agency. It's been located for decades right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. Ron Pestimer's insurance company specializes in a wide variety of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, life, and much more. The Pestimer Agency serves over 1,000 people and businesses in all of Chicagoland and the Midwest. Call Ron, Ronnie, or Michael at 219-844-0103.
Cantrell and Cantrell, attorneys at law. Are you injured or in trouble with the law? Give us a call and schedule your consultation today with somebody who is in court and at the jail every day. Call John Cantrell at 219-5544-LAW or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. John and his wife, Kristen, make a great team and are waiting to hear from you.
Speaking of John Cantrell, Friday's show, Kevin's already missing one, but that happens, you know.
Sure.
Kevin's got a thing he must tend to.
Yes.
But
Wow.
I already did the replacements, John. It's going to be a good show.
Who do you got?
I got John Cantrell and Phil Talon, along with the normal crew.
And a great guest.
That is going to be
And a great
hoot.
guest. Senator Eddie Melton's going to be our guest on our first show back. Well,
Wow.
second show back on Friday. So we got Senator Melton in studio. We already cut that interview, by the way, so it's going to happen that day. But John Cantrell, Phil Talon, and our normal complement are going to be on Friday's show. So,
State legislature starts this week, right?
I think
They're
it's
back in
today.
session today. Wow, welcome back to
Yeah.
our folks down in Indy.
That
Yeah.
might be a better show than if Kevin was here.
Mm.
And I don't mean that in a critical
no
way.
doubt about it.
Thank you, John.
Okay, that sounded critical,
Thanks,
Tom.
John.
I wasn't trying to be critical. I was just being honest. I mean, there's no doubt.
All right.
Hey,
Appreciate
litigation was one of
Have fun.
Actually, no, I'm not supposed to start with that. I announced I'm running for a 6th term. Okay,
I
let's
thought-
move on. Oh, okay.
I think that was I saw it in an article by Howie, which was kind of like a long. What, John? What happened?
Mike just put in the chat, I'm coming Friday, too.
Foreit. Yeah. Well, there goes the show.
As for tell him to bring his glasses.
Yeah, there you go.
3D glasses.
I saw that you announced kind of through a Howie article almost. It came out.
It was weird how I announced this time.
Yep.
Because it's not a big deal to me. No offense, but like I've done this 5 times previously.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm running for a 6th term. I think I'm on the top of my game as mayor. Even though we just suffered a big loss in the Court of Appeals, I think we're operating at a high level running the city. When I say we, it's the team. Obviously, you're everybody in this room included. I think that Hammond's getting a good deal out of my administration, and I think right now more than ever we need somebody that's an expert in being the mayor in charge of the city. So I'm running for a 6th term. I'm very proud of it, and. To me, I wasn't making like a big splash. I'm not going to have like a press conference and like make a big deal out of it. I just feel silly doing that.
Well, I thought the article. So a couple articles I saw over the break. One was in the Howie talking about you and actually asked you some other questions about other races, and then I thought Molly DeVore's article in the Times was great because I loved your quote. I have a PhD in Hammond. I thought that was great.
Yeah,
I think that's accurate.
By the way, I mean after 20 years of being mayor of the city, I think I could
kinda
do
know
like
what you're doing.
I could do a
He's
master
got a
class.
doctorate now. Yeah.
Yeah, I could do a master class on being mayor. There's no doubt in my mind.
Plus, there's a bunch of things changing in Hammond right now. I mean, the whole downtown area.
Yeah.
They need somebody who knows what's going on.
Hessville too.
Hessville.
I mean
Yeah,
Hessville
Hessville
and the
too.
downtown. Downtown is so tore up. God, it's annoying.
But it's going to
like,
be worth it.
It's
I
all
agree,
about the
I
end
agree,
result.
I agree.
Yep.
It's, like Jeff Speck said, we have good bones downtown, and we're filling them in, and
I
it's
know
going to be a
some of
great
those
project.
buildings are so pretty.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, look at Ben Calumet. They are
Yeah.
literally right now like
Underway.
gutting it, getting it ready for the for residential.
Yep.
It's really cool.
The cut worm forgives the plow.
Oh, very nice, John.
Really?
Yeah.
Because
that
then
might-
a
I
cut
just-
worm turns
If I was a
into two
cut
worms.
worm, okay, yeah, I
the
guess
cut
that's true.
worm
I'd be
forgives-
pissed if I was a cut worm.
Yeah, maybe.
You
I'd be
could
like,
cut a worm
this
in
sucks.
half
I'm
and
happy
it'll
for the
survive.
plow.
Depends which
but
half you were.
I am like cut into two pieces, so I'm not very happy with this
Maybe
personally.
Are you the top half?
I
or the
understand the
bottom
big picture, but personally, it sucks for me. You know, like if I was the worm,
Maybe you wanted to get rid of half of
that
yourself.
sucks. You know, like I really enjoyed the back half,
It'll grow
but
back.
whatever. You
He's
know,
gone now.
yeah, that's a dumb quote, John.
Wow, John.
Well, I got
I
it from
think it's a
Talladega
lovely
Nights,
adage.
so
Cut worm enjoys the plow.
forgives the
Forgives
plow.
Forgives the
There
plow.
you go.
Okay,
That's the title of the show. I don't care if you don't like it.
all
or
right.
Yeah,
I
not.
like
I
it.
love
I
it.
like that for a title.
That works.
I think that quote sucks though. 'Cause it's not realistic. The cut worm's gonna be pissed. It happened to that worm.
It's the bigger picture, Tom.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
agree.
see,
I'll
like
do
the
big
worm
picture.
thinks that his life is ruined, but the plow doesn't even know the worm is there. So.
Well, and look what the plow's doing. It's for the greater good.
Okay, if I
Progress.
was walking downtown Hammond checking shit out and a tractor ran over me, but the tractor, as long as it's working in downtown Hammond, it's for the good. I would still be pissed.
The cut mayor forgives
I'd be
the
underneath
tractor.
the tractor smashed, thinking
Dad would
this
understand.
sucks personally.
You
I'm
would
really glad
understand.
downtown Hammond's going to look
Yeah,
nice, but I'm
exactly.
smashed underneath the tractor.
You're
I
like,
would
it's
not
going
be-
to take me a long time to forgive that thing.
I would be super pissed personally. So,
I guess it just all depends about the mentality of the worm. So,
yeah, you're like, oh, I'm so glad I
Yeah.
got smashed by a tractor.
Dad would be a very pessimistic worm.
I would be very realistic. But litigation seems to be one
speaking
of the
of
keys
realistic,
to being mayor. Over the break, I was involved
Back
in
to
two high-profile legal cases, both of which turned against the city of Hammond. I announced this right after I announced I'm running for another term, by the way.
Yes,
yeah,
congratulations.
Interesting timing. But the thing about the first case we're going to talk about is James Hill v. City of Hammond. James Hill, this fact pattern started when I was 11 years old.
yeah,
So I can't claim credit or blame in this case for what happened in this case because it all happened in the early 1980s.
It happened in October of 1980.
And it was about a rape that allegedly happened, and the Hammond Police Department at that time pinned the finger at a gentleman named James Hill.
Yeah, I mean, you got to. I mean, this is I mean, the rape happened. I mean, it was an 18-year-old girl that was working at a Martin gas station on Kennedy Avenue.
Yep.
Two guys came in with guns. They robbed her. She gave them the cash out of the register. They said, "That's not enough. You're coming with me." Us took her in the car, raped her in the car. Both of them raped her, dumped her in Black Oak, and said, "See you later."
Which is a part of Gary.
Yeah, and then she said, "See you later." It was a stolen car. She remembered the one thing I remember about that testimony was she said, "I kept remembering the license plate in my head. I didn't want to forget the license plate." And they found the car. It ended up being a stolen car out of Hobart. And and then there was a trial in 1982. She identified James Hill in a
The
photo
victim
array.
in this case, identified him, James Hill. Obviously, the Hammond Police Department, built a case against James Hill. The Lake County prosecutor took the case against James Hill and prosecuted the case.
Yes.
So, county government's involved there, right?
She identified him at trial.
The victim identified it, pointed the finger at him. The jury believed everybody, and they put James Hill in prison for 18 years.
1982. Yeah.
Okay, so he does 18 years, and as happens in this particular time frame in American history, because we just came upon, well, not just, but DNA testing is available now, was not available in the early 1980s, and DNA testing 18 years later proves with no doubt that James Hill's semen was not on the victim.
Right. I mean, and if you listen to the theory of the police department, they said that didn't necessarily exonerate him, but I mean, the argument of the defense is it did, and he filed a post-conviction request in 2009. It was granted, and then it all came down to this allegation that the Hammond Police Department didn't give some documents to the prosecutor, and that's called a Brady violation.
So anyway, the bottom line is, in this case, there was a trial over the break, and the verdict came back right as we went basically into break.
Mm-hmm.
So this happened in November. $25 million verdict against the city of Hammond.
That is a lot of money.
It's stunning, staggering amount. Quite frankly, so many people were involved. If this is in fact going to be, if there's going to be any liability, how the city of Hammond could be pinned for blame at that level is preposterous to me. And quite frankly, Hammond is appealing this case. We feel that the verdict was unfair. The verdict was excessive. The verdict, quite frankly, as a matter of law, we don't agree with the fact that this verdict, held the city of Hammond liable, and we're going to do everything we can to get this verdict turned over, and or the amount of the verdict reduced massively.
I think, yeah, from a legal perspective, it's a head scratcher on the issue of whether or not the city should be liable. Whether there was a pattern in practice, and I don't want to get into all the weeds, but it'll be interesting on appeal what happens.
So we're not like redoing our budget in the city of Hammond. We're not panicking. We've been through this before. I've been through this before as Hammond's mayor. Unfortunately, I had a case very similar to this that was called the Mays case. We called it was about Larry Mays. It was a very similar type of situation, also involving DNA. It also involved the murder of a Hammond police. Mays was about the rape also, right? Mm-hmm. And Mays was also exonerated by DNA, also from a similar time frame, early 1980s. Mays also got a large verdict against the city. It was $14 million at the time, and we ended up settling that case with Larry Mays for
a lot less,
$4 million. A
little over $4. I was in corporation.
It was $4.5 million. Okay. So a verdict of $14 million settled for $4 million, and that was over a decade ago. So the fact is, James Hill did get a big verdict against the city. There's a long
that's being appealed, and see what happens.
If he's listening, there's a long way to go. James Hill, there's a long way to go. We're going to do everything we can to get this judgment set aside. And quite frankly, if we have to retry this thing, we're ready to retry it. But the fact is, I'm going to fight this all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court before we pay this $25 million. So anyway, a lot of litigation while we were away. And that's not even counting the big one, which we're going to do when we come back from break. The big litigation case was covered widely by national media.
I saw you on TV.
I was all over.
It came up on my home screen.
Really?
As like an AP story.
Yeah, no, it was a big story. It's the story about the Franciscan Alliance, the sisters of the Franciscan, who decided that they no longer wanted to help the poor in downtown Hammond. And not only that, they broke a promise made to the city of Hammond that resulted in a lawsuit that captivated Northwest Indiana pretty much for the last 3-4 weeks. And then so we got a story to tell you, but we're not going to do it right now. We're going to do it after the break. So let me go ahead and start running into another sponsor that's been with us from the very beginning of LockPod, Tortillas Nuevo Leon. Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard in Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón.
Thank you, Eli. We saw him over break.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? So Eli was playing a song, and we went there to tell him that he's going to be an opener in the Festival of Lakes this year, which he was super proud of. Mm-hmm. He's played Tortilla Nuevo Leon.
No, he said, hey, can I play a song for you guys? Yeah. And we both said, we want Tortillas Nuevo Leon.
He played it in a bar, packed,
yes.
And people were singing it.
They loved it. They knew it.
But, like,
come on.
Yes.
They were singing it, John. And the only way you could hear this song is LockPod.
Yes.
That's the only way. So if people know that song.
So the Martinez family, this is exciting for you.
But what the thing that got me was playing an open bar and people were singing it. Like, nobody should know that
And it wasn't
song.
Just you and I singing it.
We were singing it, but, like, everybody was singing
it.
And I was like,
LockPod.
It was a moment for me because I was like, people are listening to the show.
I just like the fact that
at least they're listening to the ads.
They listen to the ads. They listen to the ads only.
Eli was like, "Hey, let me play. What song you guys want to play?" And Tom and I both were like, "Tortillas Nuevo Leon, man, right now."
Tortilla Nuevo Leon.
So that was awesome.
Right.
All right. Tri Electronics wants to be your complete communications provider. Tri Electronics has been a leader in this industry for more than 55 years. We are dedicated to assisting our clients with their system integration needs. Tri Electronics has the expertise and experience to provide superior results for a wide variety of projects. For more information, call Tri Electronics today at 1-800-722-6793.
Calumet Brewing welcomes you to try Michelob
They've been with us
Ultra
from the beginning also.
A
right?
long time.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I can't remember how far back some of these go because we're already on season 8.
I'm pretty sure,
but
they've been with us from the get.
Way long ago. Yeah. Calumet Brewing welcomes you to try Michelob Ultra, superior light beer brewed for those who understand that it's only worth it if you enjoy it. Containing only 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and 4.2% ABV, Michelob Ultra is a light lager beer brewed with the perfect balance of hops and wholesome grains, producing a light citrus aroma and a crisp, refreshing finish. Check out their social media for details on this great family of beers. That's Cal Brewing. Enjoy the ultra lifestyle with beers and cheers responsibly.
And another Powering America, been with us from the very beginning, has been our platinum level sponsor or gold level sponsor. But a sponsor just about every season. Thank you to Dodie Russell and all the electricians at Powering America.
Pow.
For supporting LockPod. Powering America. The Lake County Electricians Training Center is seeking applications for the Electrical Apprenticeship Program. If you're a person who enjoys working with your hands in a challenging and ever-changing environment, the Electrical Apprenticeship might be for you. This apprenticeship opportunity provides tuition-free education along with paid on-the-job training. Successful applicants will be looking to make a long-term commitment to their new careers. To learn more about the apprenticeship program, please visit apply697.com. That's apply697.com. Thank you to all of our sponsors.
Thank you, sponsors.
We're going to be on this season. Takes us all the way through Easter, right? When we break right at Easter.
It depends where Easter is, but spring break, spring breakish.
No, this is the long one's
the
long
after.
one's after summer. This is the short one is the summer. We do this one, season 9, sort of a mini season, and then season 10
we go through festival, which is mid-July,
right?
And then we go, Labor Day, and
so here we go. We're taking this one through March. So thanks for being with us, everybody, all the way through March. So we got 3 full months of making love to your ears.
Vacation is canceled.
Making love to your ears.
Vacation is canceled.
That might be the title, actually.
Making love to your ears. That is so gross.
I still like the split worm. Forgiven by the Plow.
Making love to your ears. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about...
a lot of people that just tuned us out.
By the way, it freaks me out every time LockPod makes litigation.
Oh, my. Wait, not every time we make litigation. Every time LockPod shows up in a weird place.
It showed up in a court of law.
John, they played a LockPod episode in the courtroom.
A segment.
Yes. A segment.
And by the way, we've had 180-something episodes. So, when you play a segment of LockPod, I have no idea what's coming out of my mouth. Right? Did you know?
What was it?
So, I mean, you want to set the stage on this whole thing first.
Yeah, we'll set the stage, and then we're going to tell you how LockPod ended up being played
in the
court
courtroom.
of law.
Yes, on the big screen, by the way.
I have a feeling it won't be the last time.
I hope not. I hope it is.
Yeah, Ron J. Pressemer Insurance Agency is going to be calling us. So basically, the Franciscan Alliance made a promise to the City of Hammond a year and a half ago that they were going to keep the emergency room open in downtown Hammond. They were also made a promise at the time they're going to have an 8-bed hotel located next to the emergency 8-bed hospital located next to the emergency room, and they were going to demolish the rest of the hospital. Now myself, the team in the City of Hammond, were upset that the hospital decision was being made, but deep down inside, I was very relieved that they were keeping the emergency room open.
And so was the fire department.
And so that's imperative for us, right? So for a year and a half, I wasn't nice to them. I still feel that they were running from their obligation. They were running from their mission. But I was very thankful that they were keeping the emergency room up in downtown.
And I think our residents were too.
And by the way, when they make a promise, we had a prayer session, and the CEO of the hospital is Kevin Leahy. Mm-hmm. Of the whole hospital chain. There's multiple locations.
Yeah, it's Franciscan Alliance, Inc. is the name of the corporation.
He's in there. Sister Jane Marie, who's the lead nun.
Yes,
the lead sister.
Yeah.
She's in there. Cal Bellamy, who's a known figure in Hammond. He's like Mr. Hammond.
And he's on the board of directors.
He's on the board of directors of the hospital, and he's also like Mr. Hammond in Hammond. They had the CEO of the Hammond Hospital
Pat
in there.
Maloney. Yeah.
And then my entire team. Okay? And we started off the meeting with a prayer. And then after we did the prayer, I received a presentation from all of them about why we shouldn't be so upset about them closing the hospital, because they were making a commitment to us, and they're going to keep the emergency room open, and they're going to do all this stuff for Hammond. So
wow,
this is a meeting they asked for, by the way.
This is a meeting they set up and asked for, and they were like, "Hey, we're doing this," and literally, so for the next 18 months, while they're tearing down the hospital, they're keeping the emergency room open, and we're thankful. And we're not looking for somebody to replace the ER, because there is an ER staying there, right?
Mm-hmm. And by the way, there's not communication going on.
No,
there's not like an update every month. To
and
the
I
mayor
wasn't exactly Mr. Happy with them either.
No, I don't.
It's not like I'm
was.
sending them chocolates and stuff, right? I'm pissed because they're shutting the hospital down. I still feel that they're running from us, So November 3rd, I remember the date. It was shortly before my election for U.S. Senate. And I think that had something to do with this, by the way. The Franciscan dropped a bomb. So 5 days before I'm running for U.S. Senate, Franciscans say, hey, remember that prayer session we had in your office? Remember all those promises we made and the presentation we gave to you and all the promises we made? We were kidding about that. We are reneging on our deal, and we're shutting down the ER in 1 month.
Yeah, 58 days, yeah.
They told us in November 3rd, and we're like, what? Like, and then they followed up with a letter shortly thereafter that says, hey, December 23rd, we're not accepting ambulances anymore.
That was in mid-December. They said all of a sudden they weren't going to accept ambulances as of the 23rd, so instead of the 31st.
So this is a problem because City of Hammond had made close to 28,000 ambulance trips to that ER over the previous 5 years.
Yeah, if you look at the last 50,000 ambulance runs, 27,000 went to St. Margaret's downtown.
And, those calls aren't going away. They're happening right now. So the difference is now that Franciscans made the decision to shut down their hospital, their ER, those calls are going to Munster. They're going to other locations throughout the region into South Chicago, resulting into more crowded ERs, longer wait times, more dangerous conditions for everybody involved.
Yeah, I think
that's happening right now.
If you talk to if you talk to community hospital, I'm curious on what they would say. I think they'd say their emergency room is now.
There's no doubt.
Way over.
No,
over.
I actually talked to somebody over New Year's about the community emergency room because he works there. It's a significant and way overcrowded, way too much going on.
My former secretary Michelle works there. My former assistant.
That's right. That's
Michelle,
right.
She was one of our biggest cheerleaders because she knows what's going on in the community right now.
Yeah, I mean they've got to be upset too. I mean it's basically been shut. All of a sudden their whole setup is like
all the stuff we used to do now it's coming to you.
Right.
So obviously community's not happy, but Hammond we filed a temporary restraining order against. Kevin, you want to talk about that?
Sure, yeah. I mean, what the petition was a temporary restraining order and a request for preliminary injunction. And when you're in court, you got two options. Either you're asking for money. This is civil court. You're asking for money, or you're asking for them to do something. The court to do something. In this case, we were asking for the court to do something, namely to prevent Franciscan Alliance Inc. from shutting the emergency room down based on the promise they made to the mayor, and based on the fact that you relied upon that promise, and you decided not to go and look for another emergency room provider.
Right.
Their defense was basically like, it's okay. These people are already going to other hospitals anyway. It's not a danger. Everything's fine, and we're shutting down because we're a private business and we can do that. I mean, I'm
despite the fact that we had a prayer session with the mayor, we made all these promises to the mayor, and the mayor relied upon those promises and did nothing to find an alternative provider because we promised him we were going to be there.
Yep.
Right?
And then we went to court.
It's a doctrine in the law called promissory estoppel. It's called detrimental reliance. If a promise is made, if you may not have a contract, but if somebody makes a promise to you, like let's say I promised Kevin, and I'm a firm in California, and I promised Kevin I'm going to hire you in California, and Kevin quits his job, sells his house, moves from Indiana to California, and when he gets there, I say, I was just kidding about that. Yep. There's a doctrine called promissory estoppel that Kevin could sue under that said you made a promise that I relied upon detrimentally, and you have to follow through on that promise.
And you were damaged as a result.
And I'm damaged as a result, right? We sued Franciscan under the same theory. Yeah,
saying that because you didn't say anything to it, because all we knew was the emergency room was open for 18 months. And, we pointed this out in court that, Mayor Tom talked about this. Like, look, as mayor, I've been very successful with getting deals done. And had I known the emergency room was closing, I would have went out and looked for another emergency room provider during that time that you told me it was going to stay open. And then 18 months later or 16 months later, you said it's closing in 58 days. And I think you would have got a deal done, by the way. And even, by the way, just as an example, since this all went down in the last 2 weeks, the mayor's got two different offers of companies that would like to talk to him about emergency room.
Not offers.
Well, not offers, but discussion.
Thank
you. Right. Discussion.
Not about the hospital either, about the ER, which is the most important part.
And so we went to court. Mayor testified. Chief Smith testified. Franciscans put on there.
I was on the stand for an hour and 20 minutes.
I got to do the direct exam of the mayor, which is great.
That's the longest I've ever been on the stand in any legal case.
Okay, well, it was important testimony.
No, it totally was.
Yeah.
And I think it really helped that I was an attorney in that case because I knew what promissory estoppel was.
Yeah, I think it was important that the court heard from you, the mayor, and that Franciscan heard from you as the mayor. And they put on their evidence. We put on our evidence.
By the way, no, we're not really the whole back of the courtrooms filled with reporters, basically, right?
Yeah.
Chicago reporters, local reporters, obviously. Their stories are getting picked up by national. You know, this was a huge story, and not just in the region. This was a huge story in Chicago.
Absolutely.
Like WGN, Channel 5, Channel 7, Channel 2, all the Chicago, not just one-time hits either. Following up the next day, calling me up the next day. Like, this is like a lingering story for a period of days because they followed it through the temporary restraining order, which is what we were fighting for.
And by the way, shout out to Dave Westland and Mike Tolbert.
Yeah.
Who was along with me, the legal team.
Who is Mike's partner that was helping him?
Candace Williams.
Candace Williams, right. Yep. So we had Tolbert and Tolbert representing us. We had Westland and Bennett representing us along with Smith Sursick. And, you know, the mayor, Chief Smith was there.
Yeah. Well, that was another thing that Chief Smith pointed out I thought was interesting. He said, look, we would have budgeted for another ambulance or two, and they're $300,000 a piece. We didn't have the ability to budget because you told us November 3rd. I thought that was a really good point he made. You know, and now these guys now the equipment's running harder. They got to run out of town. It's very interesting to me.
So Lockpod came up.
Oh yeah, this was great.
So I'm getting crossed at this point, and the opposing counsel is asking me all the basics, and then he says something about, "Do you have a podcast, right?" And I'm like, "Oh shit." I'm like, "Yeah," and he said, "It's Left of Center, right?" "Yeah." "How many episodes?" I'm like, "I don't know. We're in 180 something." And then he's like, plays an episode.
Can I play this clip for you? And you're like, yeah. And then Tom and I look at each other like,
we're in court.
What in the world is this going to be?
Holy shit.
Had no idea this was coming.
No.
Not in your wildest dreams.
No. And it sounded so loud in there.
Oh
so he has the video, and I'm like, oh my God, because I have no idea what I said, right?
Dave Weston looks over at me like, what is this going to do?
Oh,
I was like,
no.
oh my.
I know, like, did I sink our case before we even, like, did I say something stupid on an episode of Lockpod?
So
he plays an episode that aired shortly after we found out that St. Margaret's was shutting down. Okay, I call it St. Margaret's. It's called Franciscan, but it's always been referred to as St. Margaret's.
Right.
I'm saying that for the audience. So if I say St. Margaret's and Franciscan, it's interchangeable. But on the show immediately after, where they gave us 2 hours notice that they were shutting the hospital down but keeping the ER open, we did a show the Tuesday after that. And I was pissed, obviously, right? And they pulled that show's tape. And in that show, part of the show was I was trying to reassure Hammond residents that this isn't as devastating. First off, keep in mind, at this point, I'm like, I know the ER is still staying open. So I'm like, okay, let's be realistic, Hammond residents. The ER is not shutting down. That's the most important part. I didn't want Hammond residents to panic. I'm like, the doctors that work in that hospital don't live in Hammond. Most of the staff that works in that hospital doesn't live in Hammond. It doesn't even pay property taxes. It's
You're
not
we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine.
It's not like by the way, I know we're going to be able to develop this property also. Eventually it's going to be tax-paying entity, which is more than we ever had in the first place, right? So I'm like, relax, everybody. Because everybody's freaked out. I'm like, relax. It's part of my job.
I agree
with that. Calm the public. And that's what I was doing in that.
They were trying to make the point, like, see, he never thought that this was a promise, and he knew it was all coming down. So that was right there. That's the point they were trying to make.
But I was trying to impeach myself.
Yeah, and I thought you rehabilitated yourself very well on that. I can't remember if it was on Redirect or during Cross, but you said, I'm doing that to reassure the public, and that's part of my job.
The public doesn't want to
feel
freak out.
Yeah, it's not like the sky is falling, right? I mean, so I thought that was good. Actually, the quote from Lockpod was interesting, and you did a really good job at rehabilitating it and explaining why you said it in that context, and you didn't swear.
I did not swear.
So
yeah,
congratulations.
Unlike
Lockpod.
the beginning of the show,
you were like on an F-bomb tirade.
Coming in hot.
So here's another thing that I thought was very funny at the time, at least when I heard it. I mean, I'm still aggravated about the way this all went down, and I want to give. I thought Judge Bruce Parent's order, 11-page order, telling them to stay open was well reasoned and well thought out. And he heard the evidence, and he heard the testimony, and he agreed that there was a promise made, and he said, you know what, you got to stay open.
I thought it was, and first off, so we were trying to get the ER to stay open for 18 months with the rationale being we were promised for 18 months the ER was going to stay open. And for 18 months, Mayor McDermott and the economic development team wasn't seeking a replacement for 18 months because of that promise. We relied on their promise detrimentally because now they're reneging on their promise.
And then now all of a sudden, and you said, by the way, I thought this was interesting. You said the reputation of downtown is harmed by the closure because you said it's the first thing now that developers talk about when they talk to me.
So anyway, the court, I thought, going back to Judge Parent's order that Kevin was talking about, I thought Judge Parent it was a total compromise. He said, I'm not going to give Hammond the 18 months I'm going to give them 9 months, but a promise was made, and I'm going to force Franciscan to follow through with their promise.
You agreed with the legal theory?
We all won. Yeah. Everybody won a little bit. Hammond obviously didn't get everything he was looking for. We got 9 months. Franciscan made a promise, but they didn't have to do the 18 months, that we were asking for. I thought it was a great order. I thought Judge Parent, who heard the evidence over a course of a couple of days, few days, quite frankly.
He
started on the first day. The second day was the hearing. The third day was the order.
Yep.
So for 3 days, this is occupying Judge Parent's attention, if not even longer. And then, we obviously were high-fiving. We were very proud of ourselves. I had 9 months to find a replacement emergency room. And then the rug got pulled out from under us.
Yeah, the Franciscan Alliance, Inc., the defendant, filed an emergency appeal request with the Indiana Court of Appeals. And in about, 18 hours, the Court of Appeals issued a couple-page opinion where they just said, yes, we grant your emergency request for a temporary stay of the order, and issued a briefing schedule, and that was it. And that basically said, it allowed them to close down. And there's a tight briefing schedule. The legal team's about to meet with the mayor this week to discuss options. I still think that there's important parts of that case that need to be decided, and we're going to see what happens.
Yeah, but so anyway, the real effect of this is Franciscan is doing everything they can to destroy the emergency room as we speak. They're literally, I made a joking comment that I wouldn't be surprised if they threw a grenade in there on their way out, because they just want to ruin it. They want to make it. I was
going to say that the axe to grind from Franciscan at this point, the optics look terrible.
It was within the hour of the order from the Court of Appeals that Franciscan Alliance, Inc. sent to the fire department, hey, we're shutting down at noon tomorrow.
It was within an hour that a construction demolition fence went around the emergency room. They were waiting, and then they ran out there, and then they were literally, this is on Christmas Eve day, okay? They're working their ass off to get equipment out of there. I'm watching like ambulance after ambulance leave it while I'm getting interviewed by Channel 7 News. They're literally like doing everything they can to destroy it. That's why I said they're going to, when they're done, they're going to take a grenade, pull the pin, and just throw it in there and just ruin it. They don't want, and so a lot of Hammond residents are like, Mayor, I got a simple solution. Just go find another hospital that wants to locate there. And I'm like, first off, we don't own the land. It's owned by Franciscan. They don't want another hospital there. Right. They're going to do everything they can to keep competition out of the region. You think they're going to just hand their hospital over to University of Chicago? That's not going to happen.
I just hate that it's turned into like a competition thing and not a helping people who need assistance.
And Lindsay, you're right about that. It's an economic decision. They basically said it on the stand. Their witness said that because it's on the state line and because Illinois Medicaid doesn't pay Indiana as quickly or at all, that was a big part of the decision.
There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt that's true.
Yeah, I guess that's part of me that I wish they would have just said at the very beginning. Like, stop all the charade and just say, we've made a business decision, we're closing down. But they refused to say that. If they did
that, they wouldn't have had any legal liability.
Exactly. I just don't know
if
why
they came out cold-blooded, like they are. Let's be honest. These Franciscans are cold-blooded.
They're not acting Christian-like.
They're not Christian-like. They're not Catholic-like. They're bankers with holy garb, okay? And if they would have come out right off the bat and said, screw you, Hammond, screw the poor, screw all of our customers that rely on us, we're gone. If they did that right at the very beginning in 2021, we have no legal standing at all to do anything.
Yeah, I think they almost just wanted to make us feel okay.
Right.
And in reality, I don't know if there was we'll never know, right? Or maybe we will, but we'll never know if they knew all along they were just going to close down. And if they knew that, then that's a whole, that's a whole nother thing.
So what you're saying is,
I wish they would have just said, hey, we're closing. Done.
They should have, but I think they knew all along, and they're like, "Hey, by doing this, we're going to keep the mayor from beating us up."
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever know that.
Well, guess what? They didn't avoid that because this whole last year,
want everybody.
They've been getting a lot of bad press.
I want every Hoosier to know how cold-blooded these bankers are that run Franciscan Alliance. They're cold-blooded bankers, and they don't pay a cent in property taxes. And if I ever became governor, I would fight like crazy to make sure that businesses like Franciscan Alliance paid their fair share of property taxes, because they're certainly not a not-for-profit. They are certainly not. They don't have a mission to help the poor. It's all bullshit. All of it. It's bullshit.
Yeah,
they're bankers.
One of the points that one of the witness tried to make was, I think she said something like, I didn't, and I'm paraphrasing again, but I didn't take kindly to the mayor saying that the Lannon Clinic that helps the uninsured and underinsured, was really nothing. And I'm thinking to myself, okay,
I'm talking about the leadership.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, okay, great, you have an uninsured clinic in downtown Hammond. Thanks a lot. Does that help say anything about the fact that Hammond is now the biggest city in Indiana without a hospital.
Right.
I mean, that doesn't cure that. I mean,
Right.
and I just wish they would have just
Well,
been
I'm sure they have
honest at the
plenty of-
beginning. We're closing.
I'm sure they have plenty of doctors that are doing great things and saving lives. I'm
For sure.
And they're great people, I'm sure.
For sure.
Okay, but the people that run Franciscan Alliance, cold-blooded bankers. That's what they are. They're financial first. Everything else is second. It's finances first. And they got billions in the bank. They could easily afforded it. They just didn't want to anymore. So it's very sad. And it's,
Paul,
like I said a couple times. is-
One of our commenters just left a really good point too.
What's that?
That Paul Goddard said, "Wonder how Franciscan Munster works directly on state line then, and Franciscan Dyer, because they're both right on the Illinois-Indiana state
You know,
lines."
by the way, I was thinking of telling the fire department that every case of poor people that we get and we have a choice on where to take them, we should just take them to Franciscan Dyer and Franciscan Munster.
That's too. Well, Munster would be
Munster.
closer, but Dyer
Just like bring them there. There you go. So they can't
Yeah.
escape poor
It's-
people and their obligations. But by the way, Lindsay, it's a lot different being in Munster on the state line than it is being in Cal City on Hammond on the state line with Cal City right next to you.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to walk to St. Margaret's in downtown Hammond than it is to get to Franciscan Munster. A lot easier.
Well, I think the point is
And
that
Franciscan
like
Dyer.
they're right next to Illinois, and so the Medicaid, Medicare, from Illinois not going through like that doesn't have a lot of traction to go on.
I
because
heard that the Franciscan.
all of their locations are like on the Indiana-Illinois border.
I've heard that they're getting ready to shut down Dyer, by the way, and I don't doubt it a bit. For the same reason that they want to get out of Hammond is because there's too many poor people from Illinois.
I mean,
coming
time will
into
tell.
Franciscan
I
Dyer.
just wish, going back, if you could go back in time, I wish Franciscan would have come to
Yeah.
you and said,
I wish they
how
would.
do we make this work?
I'm mad at myself actually as mayor. I think I sort of dropped the ball. I should have been there to help them, but they were,
Yeah, it's just
they
unfortunate.
didn't ask for help. And quite frankly, the CEO, Pat Maloney, was a total asshole. He really was. He was a total jerk. I remember him so anyway, I don't need to get into personal stuff, but he was a jerk and he acted like a jerk and he was your typical corporate jerky CEO. And, that didn't help that they had a guy that was in my opinion, he had, personal issues that bled over into his professional job. So, but
I'm just curious, in the legal process you guys just laid out,
Mm-hmm.
did they ever deny that meeting took place? I assume it was an
No,
off-the-record
no,
meeting.
They didn't deny. No,
They never denied
No,
that
actually,
meeting.
there was an email.
The
that-
meeting promising we're going to stay open.
Correct. So they didn't deny the meeting,
Okay.
and I mean the evidence was very. I thought everybody told the truth pretty
Yeah.
much. I mean,
Right.
the evidence was there.
they didn't deny that.
They didn't deny the
right?
meeting. They didn't deny that they wrote the email to the mayor saying the
That
ER was
summarized
open.
the meeting.
They didn't deny the fact that there was a PowerPoint showing a new ER entrance.
Wow.
They didn't deny that there was no communication between June and November. June 21 and November
Yeah, John,
22.
right after the meeting, the CEO of the hospital chain, Kevin Leahy, sent like a summation email, literally laid out everything that happened. They were like, hey, it was like a summary.
You're gonna have ER. You're gonna have board certified ER
Right.
doctors
We're
with
gonna be open 24/7,
ER
accepting,
Yeah, yeah.
It was all laid out.
Did they ever explain why they changed their mind?
I mean, in general terms, they said that the population of patients lowered. It wasn't what they expected, and for economic reasons,
Yeah.
they decided they were going to close it, and they could give better service to patients at their other facilities. That's what they said. Again, they said some more stuff, but that's generally so. Anyway, it's on appeal.
On appeal.
Yes.
So we'll keep you up to date on that, but I think it's over personally, but maybe my lawyers don't feel the same way. But
I don't think we do.
Well,
But we'll see. We'll have a meeting this week.
okay.
All right. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I'll wrap it up. Great premiere show. Back in business.
Back in the
Lockpot.
saddle.
So to remind everybody, Lindsay, could you remember your spiel?
Oh,
It's been a while.
no.
I don't want to do it.
All
I'm,
right.
I'm
Okay.
having an
I'll
allergy
No, that's
right
fine.
now.
I'll summarize.
Do it,
Follow
John.
us everywhere podcasts are available.
Which is what? Stitcher.
I like how you lead off a Stitcher.
iHeartRadio.
Let's start with,
I don't
let's
even know
start
what
with
Stitcher
Apple
is.
Pod,
I don't even know what
Let's go with-
Spotify.
Right.
Let's start with the two main ones. Where we get our most subscribers to
iHeartRadio.
begin with. Stitcher.
What is Stitcher?
Are they a sponsor? Why would you
What
even
is
mention?
Stitcher?
I have no
I don't know.
clue.
I like how you lead
What
off
is
on
Stitcher?
that.
What
I
is
don't
it?
even know.
I remember.
Is it a dating app?
I remember Steve one day early on was like, I got us on Stitcher. And we were like, what the hell is Stitcher?
Apple Pod and Spotify. Is your
That's our
best.
main.
Yeah.
Facebook Live for the live shows. YouTube
Twitter,
for the
YouTube.
live.
Yep.
Twitter, YouTube for the live shows.
Everywhere.
We do it on Tuesdays and Fridays. We start at 7:30 Central Time. We're going to be open for business from now until about Easter. So
Yeah.
enjoy. We're back in business. This is our a passion of love, a labor of love.
Making love to your ears.
We're making love to your ears every
man.
Tuesday and Friday. So thanks for everybody for listening. We missed you. We're back. We're happy to be back on the air, and we will talk to you Friday. By the way, we got great guests. We got Phil Talon. We got John Cantrell.
Apparently,
Mike
Michael
Foreit.
Foreit.
Mike Foreit is going to barge in, and Eddie Melton is our guest that day. Senator Eddie Melton. We already did the interview, and it's great. Believe me, I was really shocked at some of the things that he said. I thought it was a great interview. So if you
Really
want to hear
good. In-depth.
a really great in-depth interview with State Senator Eddie Melton, who's announced that he's running for the mayor of Gary, it's a great show, and it's going to happen on Friday. We cut it yesterday, so you'll definitely want to hear it. So take care, everybody. We'll see you on Friday. Glad to be back. Lockpot is out.